let's do it to it. Back to the Baldician Annex. Making some good story progress. Should have just used the TV, but it's not too far. Back and with the fruit of our labor safely in storage. For now, we have but to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings with the Alliance leaders. Stankard suggested you should get some rest in the meantime. Cool. Welcome back, Sue. Cryle has surprised me of your recent accomplishments. What an amazing feat to eliminate a tower and pave the way to deal with the rest. While it isn't much, I've changed the sheets and plumped up your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing in a nice clean bed after completing a major milestone. Be it penning a thesis or defeating deiform entities. You should. So, would you like to take a look at your new and improved lodging now? Yes. Red. Very nice.
Take heart and protect them well.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Cryle, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? 'Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Rad's at Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn, I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Oh!
Are we pushing on until dawn?
I'm not that ambitious. But it is pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow until the void yawned once more. And then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
interesting cutscene. What the heck? I didn't know that was a thing. That's not better than said. We'll have to check it out. Kryl and Grahatia were having a pleasant conversation until you barged. Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope? I was about to make my way to the studio as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with the Skullark Monteshane. Thank him for coming to our rescue in the rostrum. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Thavnir. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. Since we're still waiting for a stroll on the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? Yeah, sounds like fun. That's so. The twin will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to Phenomenon. Cool. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studio for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Heading out for a stroll? Yes. No, actually, not a stroll. The Skullark himself was here. In that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studio. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Alphino, of all people, wearing his reputation, and at our alma mater, no less, wonders never cease. You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Here it is, Phenomenon. Well, I expect you made note of it before. One can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? Yes. While most of the space is taken up by the expensive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so on. As the center of what would later become the studium, it was established to promote the study of aetherological phenomena, hence the name. Though, with aether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life, and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th astral era, Phenomenon was decreed complete, and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long-term and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in aetherology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Charlene's foremost educational institute. I always did enjoy giving a grand tour to new students. I have indeed, I have long since lost track of how many times he has recited the same foppish speech, such is his undying love for his old stamping. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts and aetherology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. Less of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me, nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors, and I am certainly not the studium's most notorious master debater. In all respects, have I ever been in his shadow? If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Levieux began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully, we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration of the student body has for Alphino. With a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholar Montaigne. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. I think I'm gonna unglamour my stuff. Yep. That was fun, and it's still funny. But for now, I'm gonna take it off. Oh, frick, my mouse. Cool. It'd be kind of fun just to leave those. There we go. Awesome. I need to get some more adventures. Sell these and these, this and this. Also have a map to take care of. And just all greens. How am I doing on those? I got 70. How am I not a referred individual? That was Alphino Levio, wasn't it? The Alphino? And he's with his sister and Master Valdesian's Durando. This can only mean one thing, and even an event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word. Oh, sorry, you said you were looking for the Skull Yes, knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Alia Poe should have a better idea. Thank you. Hello. Are you lost? Wandering off the street, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me you're a trainee gleaner fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? Yeah, no. Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is in order. Allow me to bid you a welcome to the Searcher's Meet. Let me start with the question, what is the most important thing you'll find in the studio? That's right, books. And what's the second most important? Why, that's simple. everything else. That's what we deal in. That's what we deal in here at Searchers Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials that come to us, if we don't have it in our stores, we send gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. I have Paisa, the tongue of Gigantoad. That it's enough to make your hair stand on end. Which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the scholars' whereabouts. I beg your pardon. I beg your pudding. Not a gleaner? Then this was an elaborate ruse? No, wait. But think of it, you never actually came to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meet. Cool. Go back the way you came in, and you'll see the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts, a home to many rare and expensive curios, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. And the time it's taken me to tell you this, the Scholar has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need him. Thank you. Hello, level legends. Yes, the Skullak was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor, and perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Thank you. Samurai, yeah. Montashin!
Ah, I remember you.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisois in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat. We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms. 2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third? Yes, very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it. Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The 7th Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet. I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend. Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
Given me much to mull over, I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the forms, true motives, and the mystery of life itself for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the annex. Perhaps on the way, you could better acquaint yourself with the key Leopold, as the scholar suggested, while I share our findings with Ron. I do want to check out this coffee. Put some clothes on. Okay, I Kind of looks like the Neo-ish Guardians are just kind of slightly different dimensions. Yeah. Back to the annex. I would love to talk to her, but none of my stuff is at level 8. Nice. The freaking soundtrack for this game is amazing. Welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the student proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow scions. As expected, news of the boarding scales was met with much joy. Preparations now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of USA and Eastern Alliance together to determine the way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsel and Minson. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start really getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Justinian? Cool. I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Vitra and the alchemist of the great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. Just remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn, I can feel it, to Limsa Laments. Yes, indeed. The command room. Alright, let's just over here. I don't fast travel. That's the Lord here. Very cool, Rabbit Man. I was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the elder seats here and the Sultan. Three of the most powerful women in the world in the same room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to? Show me in. apologies for calling you away from Charlene at such short notice. Contrary, we are honored and grateful and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. It is only right that this decision be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it was only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. Might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding skills and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During your time in Charlene, the Allied nations have engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abduction of kobolds, Sahagin, Exalt, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph in Razathan has given us cause to hope once more. Time has come to free ourselves of this menace, and it is you, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Tlafroy at bay, we will dispatch our funds to strike at the enemy's heart, Garland. These brave few will be the Ilsabard contingent. I think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Tlafroy's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. As going that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. On that we can all agree, for our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Ariage observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there is reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor to what's yet to come. Till the Tower of Zada was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Tlafroy. They're certainly not in no rush to press further into our lands. The bridge of the Spire's primary purpose is to divide us and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Ishtola's analysis of the Tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Zod, the spires siphon aether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the largest spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good, but what would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard contingent. Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. For honor and glory. Yes. Okay. Couldn't have put it better myself. Ishola, Thancred, and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding skills to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsabard. Walban and Lord Emmerich are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival.
Pack warm clothing, furs, and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Talafra so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge that your zeal will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Is there not any like triple triad matches around here? That'd be pretty cash money. Raban. The Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding skills of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Emerald be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. Just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Elsabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Garlands has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Please them all. Sadly not, though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I have battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer is the peace of mind from knowing your Rosier is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Elsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Gaius. Word of your exploits travels quickly. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of the expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fate be on your side. So you're not coming with us? Right, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Talafroi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every motive of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Elsabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. We will deliver your people from harm. For what it is worth, you have my gratitude. You and your comrades have the strength and courage to deliver my countrymen, I am certain. In light of Gaius's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? Might even bump into an old acquaintance or two, and if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you, all of you.
does look nice. I think I'll glamor it up. Because this does look really good too. Well, oh wait, it's a higher level, so I can't. Sad. The other members of the Elspar contingent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you are ready. I shall. Take me inside, please. Yes.
By the 12.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia!
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention.
That was hilarious. Freaking all the midgets.
Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must, I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer, we shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort. Of course, with an experienced white mage such as yourself accompanying us as well, those requiring more involved treatment will be in safe hands. Raya O sends her regards, by the way.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
That's amazing. I wonder if it's locked by, like if I messed with it at all. Amazing.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do. Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, We thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gradanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the Avatar of Destruction. With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
Lord Emanolaine!
Ah, yes. Emanolaine de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
So many good options. I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
My people, yes.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as a step is sorely lacking in both.
No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Maxima, who stands with us today, tried to reform Garlemald from within and make peace with Doma. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlond Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Baller. Says the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. Fortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climates of Ilsilgard. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abductions by the Tilafdor. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been known. We few shall have to suffice ere we embark. We must distribute awarding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honors? Of course. Yes. For you. So these are the famed warning scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. Under normal circumstances, I would not be allowed to travel outside of the Trollswood. The older Sheetsier, however, has granted me special permission. She has bid me lend my magics to the people of Garlemald while learning all I can of their ways. In so doing, I will come closer to understanding myself and my place in the world, or so she says. I say it is past time my eyes benefited from the power at Sheetsier's disposal. Some bemoan that we hide our light under a bushel, and I intend to address that criticism. I hear you got something for us. Yes, I do, Sicard. Them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? Reckon they'll be worth a guillotine when this is all over, but we'll hold on to them for now. One more thing, I know what you're all thinking. Why didn't they send Einzar instead? Buggered if I know. All the admiral and Captain Hilford told me was they needed someone to help safeguard the future. Here I am. Can't say they haven't got a sense of humor. Of course, some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land in the middle of the sodden snow of all places. Well, me and my crew will do what needs doing, so let's set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. That a set of warding scales I spy, and not that I would know what they'd look like. Well, look at these. Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with aether. All the better to fend off the tempering waves. Is that right? The right term? Anyway, these will give us one less thing to worry about, which just leaves the other mountain or whatever else is waiting for us in Carl. Well, one way to find out, and nervous or not, I'd marched through all 7 hells if it gave me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. Often his father told me of the struggles faced by Alamigo in the days of the occupation, and I too have crossroads with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, her grace has elected to bolster the Ilspark contingent with members of the Alama Farms. As representatives of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. I'm here representing the Polgilists Guild in place of Master Hanna. Know that I have your back to the bitter end. Warning scales for the Ishgardian delegation. Yes. Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself afflicted by this foray into Garlemald, sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw in my lot with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And now I lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. But that is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Emmerich. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. Cast my lot with the populares to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories, that all may be united in common cause. But we we were disparaged as a radical element, dissenters looking to destabilize the empire from within. Many friends and even my parents perished in unfortunate accidents. I, too, would surely have met the same fate had I not defended. Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day the dream will become reality. Well, if I'd known what a social gathering this would turn out to be, I'd have dressed for the occasion. Still, it seems the perfect opportunity to mingle with the other guests. Would I be correct in assuming those ladies over yonder are Serena and Sadu of the Steppe? Perhaps I should introduce myself, though I don't much like the look of the fellow with the enormous axe. That's a hard kick. I'll put it. Justinian is proving himself a useful addition to your band, though I am here today in my capacity as a temple knight. I look forward to seeing the other former Azure Dragoon in action once more. Close ties with the scouts of the Eastern Alliance and the various resistance groups, they're an absolute joy to work with. Blessed are we to have made countless steadfast allies over our journeys. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances. When time shall come, we come to call our comrades and mayhaps friends. I expect a few of our comrades will be rather pleased to speak with you again, which is why I thought it would be ideal. In the meantime, I am going to put the Thancred in your ears regarding the wagon attacks. I was half expecting to find a man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he's nowhere to be seen. We've been part of a joint military operations like this before in far greater numbers, but for some reason this was very different to our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there is already a palpable sense of camaraderie. Do not expect to see the other Azure Dragoon here. I did not expect to see the other Azure Dragoon here of all places, as he well knows I'm not one for verbose greetings. We shall instead let our lances do the talking once we are on the battlefield, and we'll see if the other has been diligent in his training. This is extraordinary. To be in such company, the finest our allies have to offer, with comrades such as these, we are about to succeed, I'm certain. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm top there. Cannot for the Iron Men or the Troubles, it is the destiny of the weak to die in ignorance. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I have volunteered to join this band at Serena's request. If she thinks it is a worthy cause, that is reasonable. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the Steppes elfish men could dream to be. With the Mole, champions of the Nadam, and the Dathar having sent so many here, I had thought to defend the Steppe in their absence, and I would have done so were it not for my step-brothers. They urged me to grant our allies the sun's might, that his radiance may deliver them unto victory. Though I must tolerate the presence of this feral Dotharly dog. As first among my brothers, I could do no less than accept this challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. So, we heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Excellent. This is for you. Well, the talismans. We're to keep these close at all times, yes? So we'll see that no one misplaces those. Oh, and before I forget, I have a message from him. In distant lands and forgotten times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I have done his words justice. Domo, much like Othard, has been plagued by the towers, yet while he could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. Hien and Ugiri labor without rest to unite the people, and with their aid will we keep the enemy at bay. We of the Steppe and the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this war. Oh. Do you have a word skill for me too? Oh, of course. Thank you for this. We're going to such incredible lengths for the sake of money. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice, if I may. You have been told by many to wear the cold of Ulsabard, and I cannot stress enough that this is no token one. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemist's Guild, will understand that they are no suitable for not They are no substitute for proper protection. Leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion, and let us proceed to the Almig Accord. While you make your final preparation, I will have the pilots ready the airships. This is our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Uranger and I. We still have what we wore in Carnival before. Estinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Green Company stock. The rest of you can do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with stock. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I wouldn't be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats if I had time to find something to my liking. Hark! Is that the cry of sirens in need of a tailor I hear? Ah, it's heard. Hey. How? I have my ways. Oh, yes, indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilsabard without telling me? Huh, nothing escapes my notice. Hello, Tatar. Now, you will wear these garments I've made for you, whether you like it or not. Okay. Never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Are you coming with us? What? No, of course not, silly. It's all in the name of fashion, or the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? I did have one other thing to share. Ermgus and Bloomweeda have finally returned from their assignments in faraway lands. They'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while to keep an eye on events throughout Eors. Very nice. So they'll be running things back at headquarters. I was wondering if I could lend a hand to Charlie. Oh, why not? You can keep Kral company in the Baldizian X. Yes, we'd love to have you there, and I heard Ermgus and Bloomweeda did a fine job carrying on in our stead while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've got nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, while I'm confident you won't go collapsing again, because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transfer souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I will be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Charlotte. Really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm and gullible. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will every day. Let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. Your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. told the airship pilot has been sent over to meet you. Ah, there he is. Cool. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful once you... Of course. It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains into Garland. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources are at your disposal, and if there is aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you are ready to depart, I will ready the engines. Upon boarding the airship, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. In addition, you will be required to participate in the battle. Progress will be saved at certain points. In the event that you are defeated, you will be able to try again for the most recent of these. Please note that, yep. Oh, 82 cringe.
Ilsabad, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly? On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius, the winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they're led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald, the very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments. And once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into 2 groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Meanwhile, at the Imperial Supply Depot.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Pistola always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right, once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely. Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. The blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck. Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count.
This is Thancred. The explosives are in place.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control tower. It should be to the northwest.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point. Spotted.
That was a little rough. Not gonna lie.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
A few moments later, at the rear of the Ilsebard contingent's supply caravan.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now, if they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right, but... Wait! Something's coming!
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead! Fighters! Protect the others! Brief respite, but stay alert. Keep the carriages safe. Fear not! We're fine, and ready for more. Hear that? Get to the front and turn the tide.
Removed from the field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal in time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
That's for Gilia. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them!
I was wondering when you'd turn up. There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
Supply carrier evaporator. Save it for the temper. Tanker set up front. I need to destroy. Very nice. Kill them all. Save.
that was exciting.
A worthy adversary! Rest! Recover! Reclaim yourself! Then we will fight again! To the death!
Sadu Hatun!
That was the last of them. The day is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan? Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades. And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kavosi, after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated. The chosen forsaken. In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
In spite of the obstacles we faced, our plan proceeds apace, just a little farther, and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't go ahead of ourselves. As soon as the camp has been made fit for purpose, we are to discuss a course of action with Lucia. We might ask your Stola and Grahad to join us in that building to the northeast of camp. Alize and I will meet you there. Yes, I'll make my way over once my head is cleared. In truth, I've been feeling out of sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with a palpable aura of malevolence. 'Tis the monstrous tower on the horizon, jagged, hideous, unholy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt, the tower is not only far more terrifying, it throws unceasingly towards it, converging to a swirling mass of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constant chill of the air is helping to anchor my senses in the here and now. You will be pleased to know most of the tempered have been quartered inside the nearby buildings and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do feel no small amount of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time that has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been missing. It's possible that everyone fled at the first set of travel, though it seems to me they left too many useful positions behind. Although there is no conclusive evidence, I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking aloud. You mentioned a meeting. I will make my way there. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin. Everyone is here.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city, for therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a porksy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with cerulean heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinists will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rhine. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields. I have faith that you will, and look forward to greeting you on your safe return. You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
Going to be good. If it's discord with Tatar's clothing, I dread to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when we next meet. Makes me realize too that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes.
If there are any survivors, you must find them quickly.